Hi guys, Marisa Inda here with Juggernaut Training Systems, and today I'm going to talk to you about the importance of accessory exercises, especially for women who want to get into, whether you're getting into bodybuilding or powerlifting, the goal is to put on muscle. For women it takes a lot longer to put on muscle, and you're going to want to spend a lot more time doing accessory work. So when I started training at 17 years old, and I started in bodybuilding. So unlike powerlifting, you do a lot more accessory work. You're basically in a hypertrophy phase for a very long time. I spent over 15 years basically doing high volume work. It's benefited me a ton because as a 52 kilo lifter now in the IPF, I am probably the most muscular 52 kilo lifter. So if you're looking to get stronger and improve your physique, you're going to want to spend some time in higher volume work and doing accessory work as well. So you don't want to neglect the things that are going to also improve your bench, squat, and deadlift. So now I'm going to show you some of my favorite accessories that complement squat, bench, and deadlift, and some training techniques that are going to help you build more muscle. So some of my favorite accessory work for bench is dumbbell work because it makes your arms work individually. So today I'm going to demonstrate dumbbell flies, flat dumbbell flies. I always start with the weight on my knees. This way you can control it as you're going back. Set yourself. You can either have your feet up on the bench or down, whichever way you feel more stable. You're going to come down with control, slight bend, full stretch, come up, squeeze the chest at the top. Common mistakes people make when they're doing these is they come with their arms very straight. They can't control the weight. When they're coming down, they come up way too low and their shoulders can't take that much of a stretch, or they don't squeeze at the top. With accessory work, you don't want to go so light that you're not feeling it, but you don't want to go so heavy that you can't do 10 to 12 reps. Go with control, squeeze at the top. And then when you're finished, you can bring your legs up, bring the weight to your thighs, and that swings you right up to the finished position. Okay, so when you're thinking about picking out your accessory work for legs, after squats, I like to pick things that aren't going to put any undue stress on my back, so things that are just going to be leg intensive because we want to build those quads. So if you're in a commercial gym, you're going to have access to leg press, hack squat, things like that. If you're at a home gym or at a CrossFit gym, you're probably going to have access to a belt squat, which is one of my favorite exercises, and it really fires the quads. So when you set up for it, you want to have that belt hanging really low around the hips. Knee sleeves will protect the chafing so you can keep the legs nice and pretty. Drop it in between. You want to keep the knees forward the same way when you squat. You want to keep the knee angle forward as long as possible. Keep the tension on the quads. You can hold on to something if you need to for balance. And you want to keep your rep ranges 10 to 12. Squeezing at the top. Okay, so when I'm thinking about what accessory exercises to choose for my main work, when I'm deadlifting, my favorite accessory exercise is back raises. Reason being, I pull conventional, and that tends to lend itself to being very lower back intensive as far as when you're pulling, it can put a lot of strain on your lower back. So I've found for me, my weakness was always my lower back. So incorporating back extensions or hyper extensions, back raises, there's different ways of naming the same thing. It's strengthened my lower back a ton, and it's actually, I think, one of the things that has improved my form the most, where I'm able to maintain that neutral spine and not do any of the lower back rounding that you see a lot of people do when they're pulling conventional off of the floor. Put in. You can cross your arms, or you can hold a weight. I usually do these weighted because without weight it's a little bit too easy for me. Get full extension at the bottom. When I'm coming up, squeeze my glutes and stay pretty much parallel to the floor. If you don't have access to a back raise machine or a GHR like this, and you're in a home gym, you can always do banded ones with a band around your neck, attach it to something, and raise up this way. It's kind of a banded good morning, but it'll hit the lower back just the same. Okay, so let's talk about some intensity techniques that I use when I'm doing my accessory work, not only because it gives a good burn in the muscles, but it's also a time saver. So if you're crunched for time, bundling some things together, such as a superset, is going to get you through the exercise a lot quicker, but also put a lot of blood into that muscle area. So I'm going to demonstrate a superset, which is 2 exercises done back to back. Now you can either do this at opposing muscle groups, say for instance a chest press machine going right into a pull-up, or what I like to do is hit that same muscle group back to back. So I'm going to demonstrate a tricep push down, supersetted with a military press push-up, which is going to really make my triceps be on fire. Okay, so if you are in a CrossFit gym or a home gym, you can use a band. If you're in a commercial gym, you're going to have access to a cable machine or a similar machine for the triceps. Always make sure you keep your elbows by your side, squeezing the tricep at the top. Common mistakes people make when they are doing these is they bring their arms up and they swing. So elbows by your side, pushing straight down. Keep your reps high. You're going to do 10 to 12. And then you'll jump right into the next exercise, 10 to 12. Elbows tucked. Military push-ups are different than standard push-ups in that your elbows are right by your sides, and it's more focused on the triceps. So after you finish the set, you can do that for 3 to 4 rounds. There's different ways to organize your superset. So you can do the tricep pushdowns till failure, go straight into the military push-ups till failure, or you can do it for time, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. So you can be creative as you want to be. But this is one of my favorites. Okay, so the last intensity technique that I'm going to demonstrate today is a drop set. I think this is by far the most brutal intensity technique out there. If you've never done it, especially on legs, I suggest trying it. So basically what it is you're going to start from a heavier weight and decrease that weight down. So there's a lot of different ways to set up your rep schemes. You can either start heavy and do small amount of reps, so 8, 10, 12, increase your reps as the weight gets lighter, or you can start with a designated rep scheme, 10, 10, and 10. Make sure that you have your weights, if you're using dumbbells, set up ahead of time so that you're not having to go back and forth to the rack. The main thing is as soon as you get finished doing the heavy weight, you move straight into the lighter weight, decreasing and either increasing your reps or just going till failure. So I'm going to show you a dumbbell drop set. They usually call this running the rack because the dumbbells are on the rack. Starting with the 20s. And I'm just going to do sets of 10, dropping to the 15s. Dropping to the 10s. Rest for a little bit and then repeat. One of the main things that I see people do, big mistake, is as they're dropping into the lighter weights, they're getting tired, so their technique and their form start to go. So just make sure that you're maintaining good form. If that means that you have to stop short of your rep scheme, stop short of your rep scheme, drop to the next drop set, and then finish off your reps that way. But it's a really good technique, and again, it's going to bring a lot of muscle and a lot of blood into the muscle that you're working. Hopefully you learned a few tips and techniques that are going to help you improve your strength and physique. And if you want to learn more, check out my book, Fuerza, A Female's Guide to Strength and Physique.